team of you, the staff at the sites, and the scientists really testing this data have already made amazing advances for Huntington's disease. First, we've already reduced the sample size that will be needed for these treatment trials. When we started the project, the lowest we could have gotten it, and this is after we designed the formula and everything that you've seen from last year, was 2,097 people for a 5-year study that had just 2 groups. You couldn't compare more than one treatment to a comparison placebo pill. At 80% power, to see just a 20% effect on a medication would take that many people. Today, because of the findings, we could design a trial with 880 people. So the amount of money that you've shared because of your contributions and the amount of treatments that we can test has really increased because of your efforts. And the basic scientists have been working very hard to give us lots of treatments, as you can see. And hopefully now we'll be able to start testing them in this earlier age than ever before. Secondly, we have many markers. Our goal was to find one, and we have found many that we can now use to make these trials run more smoothly, and we listed some of them. Just this year, we validated that estimation formula that I shared with you in other years, where we use information about you and your current age with information about the gene itself to use estimations of when we think the diagnosis, the motor diagnosis, not what you guys have told us about. We still don't know about the cognitive or the psychiatric diagnosis, but the motor diagnosis would occur. And Doug Langman just recently validated that formula, so he has moved to the next step where that paper, I think it's already out. It's definitely in press, and I think there's already a pre-publication online. So that's another one that we can make available to you right away. Our goal is to get this data into the hands of as many scientists as possible. Smart new scientists that live all over the world that might have an idea that didn't dawn on us yet, because that might be the break we need. So that's what I want to hear about from you, is what are those concerns, what are we doing to protect, to make sure we're being as safe as possible with this data, but also what are we doing to make sure it gets in the hands of new, creative scientists who can give us something new. And that's what we're doing with this database. So we have a very large database, the largest ever for Huntington's disease, that has all of these scientific variables about your blood, your DNA, your brains, as well as good descriptions about motor science, cognitive, and behavior science. We have tried to facilitate everyone working together in clinical research. We have had people join hands that didn't even know each other before, and that's really what the study mandates. It mandates that people work together who maybe haven't before. And that's been very exciting. We have, as I said, many papers, presentations. We've recruited so many new investigators. That's been very, very exciting. And we've had many other grants funded that have attached themselves to this grant to learn more about Huntington's disease. I showed you that we were looking for a marker of whether we can show people that, yes, the families were right, you can measure this disease long before we thought. And this is the publication that we put in the Journal of Neurology, Neurosurgery, and Psychiatry in 2007 that showed we didn't find just one measure, but many measures. And you were not only right, you were more than right. Everything we looked at, from the brain image picture to just finger tapping tasks to things like smell, learning, all of these things showed that indeed you could measure it very subtly. In fact, many of them were still, normal. People would not have caught them, and you may not have noticed them, because many of these things were still within normal ranges. The difference is they were different than they will get over time. So what we've been able to say is that Huntington's disease is active up to 15 years before the motor diagnosis is made. So this is very big news, because it then says, oh yes, we should be able to run these more preventive trials, trials that are earlier. We should be able to treat people early before they lose their job or their ability to bicycle or hunt or take care of their kids. So this is the finding that we've already published that I showed you last year.